was like, nah, we're not doing that.
It's like we already own one.
Yeah, and I'm like, wait a second.
So it's like saying I need a truck. I'm like, I got 5.
I got 5. What do you need another truck for?
Good.
When you have so many businesses, you can't keep them straight. Are we live? Are we on live on social?
Uh-oh. We get folks who don't know the difference to text. Hey, good evening, everyone. This is Robert and Jason with world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Mastermind Hour. I don't know if we should leave hour on there.
It sounds good and cheesy, so I think we leave it.
Yeah, it's nice and cheesy.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the Texas Real Estate Mastermind Hour.
We need like some background singers. The Texas Real Estate Mastermind Hour.
Oh, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, like
I think we should do that.
we need to get that. It's got to sound like Phineas and Ferb.
Oh, yeah.
It's got to sound like when Perry comes on the screen. Yeah,
this is great.
Yeah,
this is what we do all day. You guys say, "Oh, you know what, Jason, Rob, I'd love to come up there and just shout at you for a day." It's stupid stuff like this all day.
Wow, we yell in meetings and then we come down here. Yep,
that's pretty much.
Yep,
that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I was reminded today we were going to start a company and we already own one. That was kind of funny. You know, we already have one of those, right? I'm like, that's right. I forgot.
You know what I was reminded of today?
What?
In that meeting?
What's that?
I was reminded of how good of problem solvers you and I are.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because I'm like, this.
Oh, this is a problem. Oh, we're not going that way.
Oh, we're not doing that. Here we go. Do this, this, and this. Everyone's like, what? I'm like, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah, hello.
Well, and you know, the way we're doing that, we tried it for a good 2 years now.
Yeah, we've tried it a bunch of ways, yeah.
And we've tried this particular
It's
process multiple times now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's still not like I feel like it's 50%.
That
there.
way works 1,000%.
Oh, the one that drip on that one works real well.
Really well. And trust me, 500 applicants.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
We'll talk about it later. Okay.
Yeah.
We're about to get in all kinds of trouble here. So welcome to the show. Theme of today's show is Jason's wearing another green shirt. What? Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yes.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, we had a little sidebar. Yeah, because then it's...
we do a radio show around here. We'll get to it at some point, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah. What was I? I was telling a story yesterday about real estate clubs or something. I will tell you what's really fun is dating a gal that's not in real estate. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, she owns little rental properties, but like not in this weird world of real estate education, going to clubs and RIA clubs. And I cannot wait to take her to her first networking event where she's like, half of the women in here are not dressed professional at all. And I'm like, and everyone's doing shots at the bar. I'm like, I know, it's just real estate, right? It's just weird like that. So anyway, so she asked a lot of like questions where you're like, being in the business now for over 10 years, I'm like, well, that's kind of an interesting question. And then I'm like looking from the outside in, I'm like, oh no, that makes total sense. Like, I don't understand this, this, and this. And you're like, well, no, it makes total sense. And you go, no, actually it doesn't. Like, this is absurd. Like, why would you... do it this way.
It is a little nerve-wracking when you think that one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make, your biggest financial commitment in your life, right? Mm-hmm. The mortgage guy, the agent, and the broker are all in the back room doing, God knows what.
Yeah.
Right?
I am convinced. Here's what I'll tell the audience. If you are going to go do a deal with someone, if you are going to hand them money out of your IRA, your checking account. If you're going to sign up for a real estate guru, here's what I would do. People ask all the time, would you ask for a credit report? I said, credit report didn't tell you anything. Do a criminal background check.
Yeah.
I will tell you 100%. And it will shock you.
They're like $25.
Yeah, $25, no problem to pull it. Do a criminal background check on people. Now, I'll give you a great example. AC Ramos is straight up like, I went to prison twice.
Yeah.
And this is what I was doing. And I turned my life around. Everyone's like, they're going to they make movies out of guys like that, right? Like living with his first child in a shack behind his mom's house. Like crazy story. Yeah. There's a lot of people that are trying to hide all kinds of stuff. And they can't get gainful employment in the real world, in the corporate world, because we're like, wait, you were convicted of financial crimes? We can't have you over here in our accounting department. Right. Like, so when people ask me, like, how do you vet borrowers? I'm like, oh, because we're bringing back the Passive Investor Summit. Right. That's one thing we'll start talking about pretty soon here. But one of the things I tell people, I'm like, don't bother with credit report. Don't even look how much money they have in their checking account. The only thing that matters is what is their criminal background. No one asks for it. And I'm like, you should be running criminal background checks on everyone. Yeah. You give somebody money for some deal, a note, a wrap, you're closed on a house for a flip, run a criminal background check. It will shock you.
Yeah. Well, I'll make my confession now.
Uh-oh.
When I was 14 years old, I was arrested for driving an unlicensed moped.
Oh, you think it's still on your record?
I don't know, but
it'd be awesome if it was.
You'd have to go really deep to find that one, but my moped, and it was confiscated.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
The problem is I use that moped for my paper route, so that really hurt my business. And I would just drive on the sidewalks, and one day, cop got nothing better to do than harass the kid trying to make a buck, you know?
Yeah.
Here comes the man down the street. Yep.
Of course, it's Jersey, so you know they're going to beat you up a little bit. Rough that kid up a little bit, take his bike.
They put me in a cell.
Oh, did they really?
They put me in a holding cell. They didn't book me. We don't have anyone sitting outside the cell, son, so you got to sit in there while your mom comes and picks you up.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
I bet mom loved that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was great. That was great. But I had, on my paper route, I had 4 cops. So I found the highest ranking guy, and I said, is there anything we can do? And he's like, yeah, I'll let me talk to him. And it was just a rookie, you know.
Just being
a rookie.
Yeah.
And I had to go in front. I had to go like through everything. I had to go in front of a judge, and it's like, oh, I have my learner's permit, but I have my license. How, you know? He's like, well, you should be. I'm like, he's like, well, you need to be supervised. I'm like, how could you be supervised
on a moped?
On a moped. And I was like, someone just help me understand, Your Honor. And the detective stood up and said, hey, and he came, my good guy. Yeah, Johnson, real good, Mr. Johnson, really good. And then just, you know, it's like, $75 fine and go pick up your moped.
Yeah. And don't drive by this other guy's house anymore.
So if you don't want to invest with me because of that, I understand. If you're a moped enthusiast who follows the letter of the law, I get it.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. I like it. So anyway, I would highly recommend that. So because you would be amazed the kind of stuff that, you know, you find out about folks years later when you've been doing business with them.
Wow. I think anyone who's handling over $1 million of our money, we also want a drug test on.
Yeah, there's some truth to that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nobody's worried about going to the bar, going to the Astros game, having a little fun. It's all the other stuff where you're like, what?
What's going on here? Yeah.
Yeah. No wonder when I call them, I get a completely different person every time on a Tuesday at 3 p.m. So anyway, but yeah, this will be, all right, so book 4, I'm talking about how book 4, it's portions of it are going to be written anonymously because it's not going to be just my stories, and we were going to call it Sex, Drugs, and Real Estate.
There you go.
And it's all those crazy stories.
It's finance. It's anything that has to do with like quick dollars, big checks. It just gets, they're just, you know, it's crazy.
If you've not read G.S. Elevator's book, it makes, what's the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio?
Wolf of Wall Street.
It makes Wolf of Wall Street look like a Sunday school.
Yeah.
Like
it's all crazy stuff.
And he was at Lehman, I think. Absolutely wild. Just wild stuff.
Your broker was at, Goldman.
Yeah.
The guy who wrote that book was at Goldman.
Oh, he's at Goldman. Okay.
Yeah, Goldman, that's all craziness. It's absolutely insane. And it's just, it's like, you understand how rigged the entire system is.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Once you've been out on a Wednesday night on a party boat with a bunch of guys from Wall Street, right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, my God, this is crazy.
Well, what's funny is I think I'm kind of a socially liberal guy.
Sure.
And then I hang out with these guys. I'm like, what kind of level? This is a whole nother level of craziness.
Hey, when we come back, we're going to talk about how to overcome your fears, and it's not through alcohol or drugs. So this is Robert with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. Go to our event page, MRTXREI. You check out some of our great events that we have coming up. Hang tight. We'll be back. Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Robert with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Mastermind Hour. Yeah, we're doing a whole hour today. So, all right, let's talk about you and getting over some of the humps out there. Mm-hmm. So, we're in that point of the market where the folks who have been saying, hey, as soon as there's a downturn in the market, I'm back in.
I'm buying big, guys.
Well, they should be back in now.
Yep.
Because some of the sellers are getting skittish.
Yes.
So we just did a deal. It was listed at 137. We picked it up for 110.
Ooh.
110. We know it's worth 240.
Yeah.
So we got a big rehab on it, but I'm like, get it. Grab it. We'll make this one absolutely beautiful. We'll put this in the market come summertime when the market stabilizes a little bit better. So we don't know where they are, right?
Yeah.
And as we point out in our 3-day class, which is Complete Real Estate Investing, go to mrtxrei.com to get your tickets. Two biggest risks in real estate are interest rates and refi.
Mm-hmm. Interest rate risk and refinance risk.
All right. So we're handling that as probably as better than anyone else.
Yeah, I learned that lesson when I ran into two guys up in Dallas that actually owned 1,000 doors.
Yeah.
Let's explain what that is. 1,000 doors. When someone says I own 1,000 doors, they own them. It's not a syndication with 900 people in it, and they each put $5,000 in.
If I said I'm a partner on 1,000 doors,
yeah, and you're like, okay, that's great.
Fair enough.
So these two guys were partners. It was all their money.
Yeah.
And they had a 5-year balloon on this thing. Class B. Really, really nice complex.
Yeah.
They bought it, big rehab. They had a construction background, and we're making money hand over fist. And it happened. They had to refinance it right in the middle of 2009. There was no money out there.
Yep.
Like they were literally 50% loan to value, and bank took it back. And I learned that lesson where it's like they said, look, when you start getting to the end of your term on your note, maybe it's a 5-year. You start having conversations at 3.5,
Yeah.
like.
Give yourself 18 months.
Yeah, because you never know when it happens. So what are we doing? What's happening right now?
Yep.
It's happening all over again, where I'm financing some stuff that literally 60 days ago, Omar would call and say, hey, we got this beach house. And they go, okay, well, just send us a picture of his checking account and his schedule of real estate.
And you would have been at 6.5%. You would have been fine with that.
Yeah, and it's funny. They're like, so they get my schedule of real estate. They see how much is in the checking account. And they go, oh, we're just going to pull his credit just we don't care what his credit score is, but just as a customary thing we do. Okay, that was it. No tax returns, nothing. Loan close. Omar said today was the easiest loan we ever did. Same group of guys now are like, well, things have changed and this, we're going to do this and that. Like 60 days difference, right? So it's slowing some of the process down.
It is slowing it down. It's a big difference, but we still see a path forward.
Yes, yeah.
So here we are in a market that is disruptive. And if you're smart, you should be in this market, figuring this thing out and getting deals.
Yeah, because a lot of people humans are amazingly lazy. And it is a survival mechanism.
Sure.
So you've got to remember our brains use like 40% of the energy of our body.
Driven by fear.
Right. And so because we've always lived in a world of limited resources.
Right.
You're inherently lazy. So what happens is the investors run into a little bit of pushback, and they're like, "Oh, I'm not doing the deal. Nope, never mind. Walk away. I'm out." In fact, I just heard somebody say this today. I'm like, our agent sitting across from me, and I said, "Show me the deal again." I looked at it. I'm like, "Wait, she's walking away from this?" She said, "Yeah." I'm like, contract that right now. Somebody else in the mastermind is going to get this deal. This is going to be an amazing deal. So because they ran into a little bit of resistance, they're like, "Nope, I'm only looking for this." And I'm like, that's fine, but just realize you just walked away from a great deal.
Yep. And here's the big thing on that one. One guy's ready to go. Yeah. Like, understands all the ups and downs of the market. It's like, I see it. I got it. You tell me what the return is. We're good to go.
Yep.
Let's go. Another person's going to step back, right? And, fear and greed, right? So one guy's like, I'm greedy because the market is fearful.
Yeah.
Right? And the other guy is like, I'm afraid because everyone else is afraid.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you got to go, right? And that's a big thing for people, just how to get over that, right? And we spent last weekend working on it. We spent a couple days, a week before that, we're really sort of working on, hey, like, where's your mindset at? Why aren't you doing these deals? And in the last 10 days, it's been night and day.
Oh, yeah.
I put out, there's a duplex, boom, 5 texts. I want it, I want it, I want it, I want it. I'm like, oh, great. I didn't even tell you where it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you want it. Okay, go get it, right?
Well, I was talking about in one of the earlier week shows. That tool you put together is brilliant. So Rob and I have been dealing with some challenges in the mastermind where we're like, why is no one taking, I don't want to say no one, but we had a small group of people that just were skipping on deals, weren't taking action. I'm like, what is the problem, guys?
Yeah.
So then Rob was doing all this reading. If you guys remember from a couple of shows from the last
Yeah.
couple of weeks, we've been talking a lot about Robert Kiyosaki. So Rob's been reading a lot of this stuff, and he comes up with, essentially, it's an investor self-assessment tool.
Yep.
And it's a risk-based assessment approach. How much money could you lose? If you lost this much money, how many nights would you miss sleeping? What are you trying to accomplish in your investment career? So really, those are the 3 big questions. Now,
Sure.
it's like, I don't know how many, 10, 15 questions, something like that?
Yeah.
And so Rob having everybody fill these out. We had our mastermind last weekend, and so we would have guys in our group of, I would just put deals up on the sheet. I'm like, all right, guys, I'm working on this one. They're like, well, I want that deal. And we're like, wait a second.
Hold on.
What's your sheet say?
Right,
and this one guy, like, literally was all happy. He's like, I want to do that storage. I want to do that. And then I go, what's your sheet say? And he looks at it and he goes, oh, no, that doesn't match my sheet. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then we would throw up like a Corpus Christi deal. All right, here's the deal. We're going to do this, this, and this. And we're going to make this much equity. Oh, I want it. Wait a second.
Wait a minute. You said you want it north of Houston. You were looking for Spring and Conroe.
Yeah. And Corpus Christi is not exactly north Houston.
Right.
And then literally like halfway through the day, people go, all right, I got it. I want to change my sheet. I'm like, oh, so you guys are getting it now.
Right.
This is why I've said forever that none of you, I don't care how smart you think you are.
Right.
I'm calling all of you out right now. You make no decisions based off logic.
All
None.
Emotion, yeah.
All emotion.
Yeah.
Jason, I do the deal if the numbers are right. No, you don't. You are lying to me and you're lying to yourself.
That's the bigger problem.
You are absolutely lying to yourself about it.
Oh, worst liar in the world.
There are a lot of guys right now in the Bitcoin world, in the crypto world, that have been lying to themselves.
Jason's coming back.
Oh, it's coming back.
Oh man, I'm thinking about buying more.
Oh,
if I didn't lose all that money in crypto, I probably would buy more crypto.
That's right. Yeah. Come on, dude. Whatever. I would much rather bet on Astros games than I would in the crypto space. Like it's betting on a sports bet has less risk than Bitcoin. You know what? I bet someone's done a VAR on that. I'm going to go, I bet they've done some volatility.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to go see if I can pull that. What is the volatility of bidding, of betting on Astros stuff? Maybe just win-loss and total runs, that sort of thing. And then versus crypto. I bet sports betting has less risk than cryptocurrency does. It would be real interesting to look at.
Pretty good to look at, yeah. And I think most time it's we talked about it the other day, like people, it's the funny money is your 401k, right? They're not even considering it theirs. If they were, they would be freaked out every day. Like, do you actually know where your money is at, right?
Well, and what I think is so funny is they're like, well, JC, I'm young or I'm going to retire in 10 or 15 years, so I can make it back. I'm like, wait a minute, you're okay with losing 25%.
Right, but you won't do this deal over here.
But you won't do this over here
right.
because it breaks even in cash flow, but it makes you $100,000 in 3 years. I'm like, you make no sense.
Well, that's what that is. So we have to start recognizing, hey, the first step to solving a problem is recognize you have one, right? Yeah. And hey, you need to recognize you're making emotional decisions, even though you want to pretend like it's all logical, and it's not. Hey, we go over this a ton in our 3-day class, MRTXREI. We also have a ton of events coming up here in the next 10 days. Go to our website, mrtxre.com. Look at events. You'll see a ton up there. Small apartments, Airbnb. We just had a massive women's group last night. Lots of good stuff going on. Check out our website. Hang tight. We'll be back. It is almost that time of the month where we're going to sit down and do 3 really intense days of real estate education. We're going to talk about the market. We're going to talk about how to find the deals. We're going to talk about how to find the money, how to find the right contractors, how to find the right property managers, how to set up your portfolio and create your LLCs and S Corps. We cover all of that in an event called Complete Real Estate Investing. And it's Friday night, and it's Saturday, and it's Sunday. And you can just click here and hit the link, and you can sign up for our 3-day. Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Robert and Jason with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network, the Texas Real Estate Mastermind Hour. The Texas Real Estate Mastermind Hour.
Yay, we're all here.
All right, so, hey, we're selling our self-storage unit.
Oh, we are.
Yeah, so we got to make sure we sign that listing paperwork. We gave it to the couple guys, and I think more people wanted us to do the work. And
Yeah, everyone wants me to hand over something. I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that.
so we do have a self-storage unit out there. It'll get listed, I'm assuming, by Friday.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'll follow up with them again today. Just get it out there.
Let me see. Let me see what else they need. I'll send them a text real quick.
Yep. Yeah, so we're selling ours. We just don't have the bandwidth, and we're finding some different opportunities that are requiring our time a little bit more.
This will be one of those deals, and I'm like, I never wanted to sell, but we just absolutely cannot get to it.
That's a shame.
But it's a great deal.
Sure is. It'll be the cheapest self-storage unit per square foot on the market.
By half.
Yeah, by a good amount.
And it needs, I don't want to say it needs everything.
It needs the automation factor. That's what you really need to do. Yep. Yeah, it's a paint. But yeah, anyway, if you're interested, I don't know. Look on the LoopNet. It'll be out there. If you want to reach out to us at jason@mrtxre.com, you can go ahead and email Jason for the details. But we'll tell you what city it is, and you show your proof of funds. Because we're going to get a lot of people.
Yeah, you're going to need...
We're going to get a lot of... I'm going to do
I'm going to...
put together syndication on
Yeah,
it.
dude, you're not putting syndication
no, just give me a proof of funds, and we're good to go.
Yeah, shoot me a proof of funds of about $300,000. That's not what it costs.
No, but
I'm just telling you, that's if you're going to do a loan, that's probably you're going to need that. So just shoot me a screenshot of your checking account, $300,000. I'll be happy to send everything else to you.
Yep, sounds good. All right, so we're talking about just sort of getting over these mental blocks for those folks out there, and we talked a lot about the why. I got a little nasty with that. I got serious, I should say, intense. I think.
Oh yeah.
Everybody was saying. I said, what do you want, right? I always ask, what do you want? I want $1 million. Like, God, get out of my room. Just leave. It's ridiculous, right? It's like, what do you really want, right? And then why, right? Well, I just want financial freedom. I'm like, oh, okay, you can also leave. Because those are just made up things. That's
marketing terms.
Yeah,
I'm looking for passive income.
I'm looking for passive income.
Come on, bro.
I'm like, okay, what do you really want? Tell me what you really want so we can get to it. Otherwise, we're just dancing, right? Otherwise, you're just playing this. I'm coming to this event and I'm feeling like I'm doing something.
Yeah.
So we made them dig deep on the why, and I just said to them, listen, if you're going to sit here and tell me it's because of your son or your daughter or your grandkids or your wife, and you haven't bought a deal in the last 12 months, you have failed your son, you have failed your daughter, you have failed your grandkids, and you have failed your wife.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do about correcting that failure?
Well, I think the other problem too is what a lot of people don't do is they're seeking validation from others.
Yeah.
You go out and build this, Jason, I'm going to build a legacy for my family. Like, okay. So you build a legacy for your family. Do you think your family even wants that legacy? Did you ask them?
Did we ask them what do they want?
Think how much ego that requires. Where you say, and I know it's the humble ego. No, my family really wants to inherit this big real estate portfolio. Are you sure?
Right.
I'm pretty sure they don't. Most of them don't. And how do I know most of them don't? Because I meet a lot of people who inherited portfolios, or the patriarch or matriarch of the family is selling the portfolio. We end up buying it so they can give the cash to the kids. So this whole I'm going to build a legacy. What they really mean is I'm going to pass down all these assets because that's what I would have wanted.
Right.
So you naively assume that that's what your family wants. They really don't. Most of the time they don't. Like I said, I work with a lot of folks that are like my parents' age that are selling portfolios, big and small. They're just like, man, my kids don't want this. So your ego gets all wrapped up in this. Well, I'm going to build this legacy, and my kids. What it really is it's called a covert contract. My kids and my family are going to love me so much because I sacrificed to give them this legacy of a real estate portfolio. And I'm like, dude, you are about to get slapped all across your face, and one day you'll realize you did all that, and they really don't appreciate it as much as you think they did. That happens way more often than you think. So what you need to do is you really need to do it for you, whatever that means. Right?
Absolutely.
So anyway, that's Jason's psychology.
My wife
hour.
is not interested in a $10 million portfolio.
She has zero interest in that.
She's like, just get me this and the cash for a little bit, I'll be fine.
Yeah, I'll be fine. I don't want all that other crap.
Yeah. Oh, I'm on the gun. So I got signed up for another life insurance policy.
Oh, did you?
I'm getting old, man.
Yeah.
And they just get more expensive
Yeah.
the older you get, right? So now I'm like, all right, what do I got to be at? And they're like, okay, well, what's your height? I'm like, I'm 5'9". They're like, are you sure you're 5'9"? I'm like,
I don't know. I feel like 5'9".
pretty sure I'm 5'9". They put the tape measure up. You're like, you're 5'8.5". I'm like, inhaling, twisting my head, trying to like arch my arches up. They're like, no, you're not 5'9". So that's an extra 11 pounds I have to lose.
Oh.
I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah.
I think it'd be easier if I just go to a chiropractor and just keep getting adjustments so they can release the compression in my disc than it is to go out, because I still have to lose 6. So now I'm like 17, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to the Giants game, New York City.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you ain't losing
Disney.
the next 2 weeks. Yeah.
Christmas. I'm like, uh-oh, this is tough.
Yeah.
So I starved myself yesterday, and I could not eat anything this morning. I had to wait until I got in around 11, but it's
Well, I'm doing starting Monday, another no alcohol month. So
make it 2 weeks.
no, I do it a month every time.
I get a little cranky in that last week.
Well, I start. I'm like, I'm getting close to the end, and I'm like, I know.
I'm joking. Anyway,
I do that last week. Is like
a little tense, yeah. Yeah, so it's one of those things. It's like, hey, we got to figure this out now, right? Because she's not interested in taking over the real estate portfolio.
yeah,
So I'm like, all right, well, what is this going to cost me to make sure she walks away with $1 million, right? And it was very reasonable.
yeah,
And she's like, what? And so my wife's always concerned, right? She like, well, where are we getting the money? I'm like, we're going to do a 2-day special on Airbnbs. It's $1,000.
That's funny.
Or you can stay at one of our Airbnbs, and it's $500. So you can either stay at the Airbnb or it's room for 20 people. And I'm like, and that will be enough money to pay for her and my new life insurance policy.
Oh, that's funny.
That's it. I'm like, hey, I know I can earn.
Yeah,
I know I could turn something on, spend a couple days in refining the program. We are doing Airbnb every day. Our management team is kicking butt. I mean, they're fantastic. We're doing the books now. We're doing just so I don't want to give away because then everyone starts, I've
not the books is in the accounting.
I've already
like
seen my Airbnb education program on someone else's Facebook Live.
Yeah, I know.
Exactly.
You're like, this looks familiar. I think they find ours and stay in them. I think they do that so they
Maybe.
see the process.
Maybe.
Well, wait till I get these 3 closed. We are going to do a whole thing on those. I cannot wait.
And then we just figured out a way to pay for our Cybertrucks, that's going to be fun.
Yep, got to pay for the
All right,
Cybertrucks.
here we go. Let's get this going. So, listen, you got to get through your stuff, right? You got to become uncomfortable. If you come and join our mastermind, I will make you feel uncomfortable. I can promise you that. And I had to explain it to someone yesterday because they were saying that, well, sometimes, Rob, you're a little rough in front of the room. I'm like, yeah, that's what they paid for. I'm not changing that.
Yeah. Why would you? The whole change part is not comfortable.
All right. So I had to remind this person. I was like, Sir Lawrence Olivier said, remember, if it happens to someone else, it's comedy. But when Rob turns and locks eyes on you and starts grilling you, then it's a tragedy, right? So it's like, that's the difference. Hey, this is Robert Jason with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Mastermind Hour. Hang tight. We'll be back. Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Robert with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Texas Real Estate Mastermind Hour.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us tonight.
So I'll tell you the cruelest one I ever saw, and it was on a Zoom call. So I've been a part of a handful of different men's mastermind groups. They deal with different stuff like health and fitness and some spirituality stuff, business, all that stuff. So this guy was having a little challenge on the romantic side of his life. And so it's a Zoom call. Everybody's got their video on, right?
Yep.
And so the month before, this guy gave him some advice. Hey, do X, Y, and Z. You need to be doing this and this and this. And so this guy's like, hey, I'm still having problems in this area. And he's like, are you on the phone or on your laptop? He's like, I'm on the phone. He's like, I want you to take your shirt off and go stand in front of the mirror in your bathroom. I'm like, uh-oh, what's going on here? And he's standing there in front of the mirror, and he's got his camera out, right?
Yeah.
So he's like holding it like this, and he goes, look at yourself.
Right.
Would you be with you? Now, I'll say it this way. He said it like you'd say it in Jersey.
Yeah.
But the FCC would shut down this radio
sure,
station. Would you be with somebody like you?
Yeah.
And everyone was like, oh!
Right.
So he's like, that's part of the problem. And I was like, oh, this is... And everybody got uncomfortable, right? Like, even the guys that are like really good shape are like, yeah, you got a point here. And it made everybody uncomfortable. Then I will never forget that lesson. Like, would you be with you? And I was like, ooh. That's the point of the mastermind. You're sitting there and someone goes, you got this problem. I know how to solve it. Here's the 3 ways you're going to solve it. You have to do all 3. Well, I don't want to do number 1. Well, guess what?
Doesn't work.
That's not how that works.
Right. I just told you have to do all 3.
Got to do all 3.
Well, I don't have time. I got, soccer practice. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
My kid has soccer practice. Like, all right, well, you ain't buying this triplex today, are you?
All right.
Because you're too busy goofing around doing other stuff. So... Which, in the grand scheme of things, your kid's not going to remember if you were at that stupid soccer practice. I mean, come on. Yeah. So that's why I'm like, you make it to the games, even if you can't make it to all the games. You make it to the playoffs. You see their big, Carson's doing concerts. You go to the concerts, but it's like everything else. It's just background noise.
I even hate to bring it up, say it this way, but your kids will remember the presidential suite on the Disney Cruise Line much, much more than the 4 or 5 soccer practices you miss.
Yes.
To go get a deal.
You know what? I'll take you guys back. I was not around for a lot of, like, my kids were real little because I was in graduate school and I was working full time and I started this real estate thing. But you know what they do remember? Ripping around in a Lamborghini at the World Series. Yeah. They remember that.
Yeah, that's a good one. Right.
How about all the Ferraris? Like, they remember all that craziness, right? Like, oh, we're going on another cruise. Oh, we're going on another vacation here. They remember that.
We just thought we're going to do I don't know if we're going to do the Pacific Coastline or we're going to do the Northwest Passage. But I think we're going to do an Amtrak car overnight, like 3-night Amtrak. And when you get the big viewing cards, you go through the Rockies and the Continental Divide. I think we're going to do that. Wherever we land up, whether it's Vancouver, Seattle, we'll spend the rest of the week there in Seattle. I
would love to do one of those. But the problem is, like, when you look at them, they cover so much. It's almost like you got to be gone for a month. So I'm like, where's, like, the 4 or 5 days?
Oh, you could do L.A. to Seattle in 2 days.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, and then you just do 3 days in Seattle, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because that probably does follow, like, the Pacific Coast Trail. And
it goes right up through Santa Barbara, St. Louis Obispo, all the way up Oregon through the Portland, all the big cities, and over the coast.
I'd want to do, like, the most expensive executive car, like...
Yeah,
where you have
$700.
Really? It's dirt
cheap. Hey, remember, you're on Amtrak, so it's government it's government supported, right?
Yeah. Like, you have to wear a jacket to dinner.
Well, I don't know if that.
No, it's not that
the
fancy?
Oriental Express. No.
That's what I was thinking.
And you don't want anyone getting murdered on it either.
Well, that's true. That's a murder mystery on a train.
On the train, right? No, but I looked at that. I was like, $700 a night. I might do that. That's bad.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that could be fun. Just relaxing. I like the rocking motion of the train anyway. I grew up in the Northeast, so I was on Amtrak all the time. So that's fun. They'll remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not going to remember that, someone else had to pick them up from Little League practice, right?
Yeah. Or you skipped a game. Yeah. It's not like they're in the World Series, right? I mean, come on.
I have a really good friend, and he listens to the show once in a while, and he was a hockey dad forever. And it's great. His son, was playing at a pretty high level. Mm-hmm. He was very good. He was an all-star, all that stuff. But he's not going to be in the NHL.
Yeah.
Right? He's going to go on and probably go to law school
college
or something else.
Yeah.
But, discipline, I get it. All that good. I get all that, right? And he's older than me. Mm-hmm. And the last conversation we had, he said, I think I'm going to do what you do. I'm like, it has taken me 14 years to get here. It's like, while you were doing the hockey dad thing, and I can appreciate that, I'm here.
Yeah.
This is what I was doing. It's like, Rob, I really want to figure out what you do. I get up every morning at 5 o'clock, and I go to bed at 9 o'clock, and every hour in between is real estate or decompressing from real estate.
Yeah.
Every hour in between. You don't want that. You want to keep your job in your cubicle, and you want to buy 10 houses, just
That's
like
it.
we've been telling you for 3 years.
Yeah.
That's what you want to do.
I had this thought the other day. I'm like, I think I even brought it up on the radio show. How many of you guys ignored my advice in October 2018? Was it 2017? When I said, if you think real estate's expensive now, just wait.
Absolutely.
Even if you bought houses in December 2019 before the pandemic, if you had bought 10 houses there, they're up 40% in 3 years. 40%.
Yeah.
And of course, everyone goes, well, I mean, this time's going to be different. You keep telling me that. And you're 100% wrong. Every time. Jason, I'm going to wait. Dude, I met you in 2013 when I started doing this, and you're still waiting. Like, I don't get it.
Well, here's what I hear. When someone says that, all I'm hearing is, I'm afraid, I'm afraid, I'm
Yeah.
afraid. I'm afraid. I'm afraid of being a failure. I'm afraid of being a failure in front of my family. I'm afraid of losing money. I'm afraid, I'm afraid, I'm afraid. It's like, I understand the conversation you're having with me. I don't want to have this conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're getting a little glimpse of how I used to run my other businesses. Like, hey, this meeting's gone on long enough. You and you get out.
Yeah. We've been moving people around.
Let's
meetings all
go.
day.
We got things to
We got
do.
other
Like, this
stuff.
is the marketplace. I mean,
Yeah.
this is the third sort of black swan event we've had in 3 years. And if you include Harvey, 4 and 5 years, right?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, this time I'm not going to miss it.
Yeah. I mean,
Right? This time I have investors. This time I have people who want to lend us first deed of trust. We've got that, right? And we're a pretty good bet with your money, right?
Yeah.
So let's go out and do this.
let's go buy some more stuff.
And I'll give mastermind lenders first look, but we're talking about 12 to 24 hours.
Oh,
right?
speaking of which, if you guys are interested in any of the stuff we're doing, investors@mrtxre.com. Investors@mrtxre.com. We got a little form you got to fill out, but
Yeah, for sure. If you want to do some passive investing and you want to, investors@mrtxre.com.
yeah.
For sure. Yeah, we got to do a whole radio show on
got to
that.
do a whole show on it.
Yeah.
This is why we're bringing the Passive Investor Summit back. And first meeting will be June. We only do 3 meetings a year. It'll be June 27th, Saturday morning. Mimosas and tacos.
See, CPI was down 0.6%.
Yeah, inflation's only 7.7%.
Yeah, 7.7.
But it was below expectations.
And did you see the other jobless claims went up last week?
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yep.
So it'll be kind of interesting to see. I just saw the CPI data. So probably a 50 bip raise. So let's
Got 1 minute.
All right. Let me punch this into your brain bowl here. So for every $100,000 you borrow, a 50 bip raise is $16 a month. Oh, that doesn't sound like a lot. Well, if you're only cash flowing $200 a month, you're taking about a 10% haircut.
Yep.
So that waiting costs you 10% in cash flow. So
Don't know what to tell you. Hurry
don't know
up.
what to tell you. You might want to call your loan officer and get that loan done.
mrtxrei.com. Check us out. Hey, thanks for joining us. We'll be back with a short little break. Thanks.